Hi there. I thought we'd spend some time with the Unit 5, Lesson 3 reading guide here with determinants and inverses. Just before we get started though, I do want to make a note here. You'll want to be using the matrix calculator inside of Desmos. So I'm going to put the web address here for you to do that. I'll be showing you it when we do our reading guide, but I want you to have it in advance. Some people like to go ahead and have it pulled up. Or of course you can pause the recording to pull it up when we get there. So let's do a little bit of definitions first. A square matrix is simply a matrix that has the same number of rows and columns. And while there is an inverse matrix for any square matrix, not all square matrices have multiplicative inverses. So let's take a look at what a multiplicative inverse is. If you look at the concept in the box at the bottom, you will notice that it tells us what a multiplicative identity matrix look like. Notice that it has a square matrix, same number of rows, same number of columns. It has ones on the diagonals and zeros everywhere else. So one thing that we know that two matrices are multiplicative inverses of each other if they equal one of these multiplicative identities, where the ones are on the diagonals. So if we were dealing with a 2 by 2, then the two matrices would multiply together to give us this multiplicative identity. Or if we were dealing with 3 by 3s, the two matrices would multiply together to give us this multiplicative identity. Okay, we're going to let Desmos matrix calculator do the heavy lifting for us on this one. But I want you to kind of get the general idea of what it is we're looking for. So let's look at number 1 here. It says determine if these two are multiplicative inverses. So remember, these are 2 by 2s, they're squares. So what we're really saying, okay, is when I multiply these two matrices together, do I get, I'm putting a little question mark, do I get that identity? If I do, then I say yes, they are. If I do not, then I say no, they do not. They are not multiplicative inverses. Okay, so let's set us up to get ready to go to the Desmos matrix calculator. When I get there, I'm going to have to give these matrices names. So I'm going to create a matrix A, and I'm going to make it that first matrix you see. And then I'm going to have matrix B, and it'll be the second matrix you see. And then in the calculator, I'm going to ask it to do A times B. And if I get that identity matrix, I know then that these are inverses. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Just as a reminder, we wrote it on our other paper, but your website that you're going to is the desmos.com/matrix. Okay, so let me switch over so you can see the calculator. So you can see the calculator here. Let us go ahead and, I'm going to hide my equatio here. Let us go ahead and create a new matrix by clicking new matrix there. Remember that you can change the dimensions of the matrix simply by clicking the buttons here for rows and columns. I'm going to put in the elements for matrix A simply by typing them. I'm going to use the right arrow to continue on to the next location. And then once I get that matrix entered, I will just click the enter button. Desmos doesn't really do anything, it just says, hey, okay, we've stored this matrix for you. Let's create the second one. Again, it's a 2 by 2, so I don't have to change dimensions. let's type in those elements. And we press enter. Again, Desmos says, hey, I've recorded it. Okay, now let's tell Desmos to do A times B. Remember, you can't type the A. You have to go get the name, A times B, and press enter. And there you go. Desmos matrix calculator did all of the work for the multiplying for you, and we did get that identity. So we got, notice the ones in the diagonals and 0 everywhere else. That lets us know, hey, you found these two are inverses of each other. So I'm going to go back to my document camera, back to my reading guide sheet, and I'm going to say they do equal the identity matrix. So I'm going to say yes, they are inverses. Okay. Next concept we want to look at is the idea of a determinant. So we say the determinant of A. Now I want you to look at how it's actually calculated. Notice it's only for a square matrix. We start in the top left and we multiply across. Multiply across. We multiply these two elements together. Then we do minus, and you can either go down and to the left or you can go up and to the right. I've heard it said, some people say you go down and then circle minus and then you go back around. Either one works for us, okay? So we then, in our key concept box, are given a formula to help us actually find the inverse of a matrix. Okay, we're told that in order to find the inverse of the matrix, we have to do 1 over the determinant. Then we have to reorder the matrix with some negatives. Okay, notice that at top left and bottom right switch places. Top right, bottom left don't switch places, but they switch signs. Okay, please don't think you have to memorize that. Right, that is simply a look at the formula and use it, which is how we're going to approach it. Okay, you know I'm going to look at examples because I like the examples. Okay, so let's find this piece of information first. Okay, now we talked about the determinant, and I am going to be doing some determinants in just a little bit. I actually want to use the Desmos calculator to find my inverse. Now, it says to determine if the matrix has an inverse, okay? I'm going to let Desmos do the hard work for me, because if Desmos gives me an error, I know then that I've done something wrong, okay? So when I go into Desmos, I'm going to create this as matrix C, because remember, we just did matrix A and B. So I'm going to input it, and then I'm going to tell the Desmos calculator, hey, I want an inverse of this. So let me show you how you do that. I'm going to switch over to the calculator. Let that change. Oh, nope, not there. There we go. Okay, let's put in the matrix C. So we want a new matrix. It is a square matrix. It's a 2 by 2. So I'm going to type it in. I've got 4, right arrow, 8, right arrow, -3, right arrow, -2. There we go. Press enter, telling Desmos, hey, here you go. And now I want the inverse. Oh, I think I got to tell it which matrix I want. So I want C, and I want the inverse of that. Well, it's not wanting to let me do that, is it? Okay. Let's see, how do I put that in there? Well, I do know how to get the determinant. Oh, no, I want that. There's my determinant. Okay, so I will have to troubleshoot this and figure out what's going on with it and see if I can finish the recording with a little bit more information on this one and how to do that. So I'm going to stop there for now. Let me switch over. There we go. And thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. If there's something that I can help with, or if there's a topic that you would like to see, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. I'd be glad to create a video for you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. What? I don't want any right now, baby. No. I'm doing live stuff right now. Thank you. Okay. I let you sleep today, but we got to hustle this afternoon, okay? Oh, after it heats up, after the oven heats up, about 12 minutes.